You want to train hard and smart, but most of you watching this video are already putting in a decent amount of effort. So right now, I'll argue that that is not the problem. Lack of proper programming is. Here's the thing. Most lifters remain novices for life. And I see these guys busting their asses off in the gym. They're straining, they're huffing and puffing. They're really giving it their all. And many of them are taking all kinds of supplements. They're dirty bulking. They're doing all these things that you would think lead to better muscle gains, yet they're stalling all the time. Why is this the case? Bad genetics? Bad work ethic? No. It's called not following the proper routine. And usually that stems from a few factors. Minimalism, training like a Reuter, or simply following a system that is completely subpar. Either by your own design or some other guy's gimmicky system. Of course, there are a few areas where extra effort is required, like if you're using really light weights, because in that case, you need to get close to failure, but most people don't do that, right? So you can build muscle with 40% of your 1 rep max if you're straining hard enough. Most guys give in because of the pain and the psychological element around that. Then you have the actual volume itself. Some people are following low volume systems. In that case, they need to up it to say 10 to 20 sets, which is pretty much all you need for the most part. Then there's your classic cardio, which most people are completely lazy on, so they definitely need more effort on that. Instead of just walking 10, 20 minutes on the treadmill, standard pace, up the intensity a little bit, go for extra mileage. And finally, you have max effort training. Guys think they're going heavy when they're doing reps of 5, but that's not really what absolute strength entails. The 1 rep max is the lowest possible velocity when talking about maximum strainage. That's how you test your strength, and I would argue that's how you really learn what your weaknesses are and refine them over time. And if you don't want to do 1 rep maxes, just do 3 sets of 190%, or 3 sets of 3 and stuff like that. But if you're doing 6 to 8 reps and you're calling that heavy training, yeah, that's great. You're going to build a lot of muscle with it. You're going to get stronger, but you probably need to up the percentages very slightly. So besides those little things right there, you don't need more training effort unless you're just being really freaking lazy. It's learning more about proper strength training and following the right guys that are going to show you what's needed as a real natural. Not saying some worders don't give good advice, but to be honest, they're not the majority. So if you're new to lifting and I make you run my novice program and you follow everything as instructed, you don't mess around with it too much unless it's properly done so, you're going to make the best gains of your life. 6 to 15 months from now, you're going to gain all kinds of muscle and strength. And it's not the effort itself that was the factor. Or what if you have a bit more training experience and you know what your 1 rep max is? Then you decide to base your system off certain percentages. Well, now your weights are going to be pretty calibrated. And if you're going to failure or really close to it, the effort's already there. All you got to make sure now is that you're addressing the right weaknesses and that volume is appropriate. So it's really not that complicated. Gaining muscle is a simple process. And if you're failing to do so, it starts by having an objective look at your system. What is lagging here? And I'll give you an example. My 385 bench would have never been achieved this year had I not emphasized the shoulders and the triceps. It was 100% intelligent programming that got me to that point. I've been training hard for years. I've always trained hard. I'm a little bit psychotic with stuff like that. You see me do a 500 pull-up workout, 1,000 push-up workout. I do some crazy stuff. But you know what? That doesn't mean anything if it's not specific to my needs. If I'm not using the right movements, if I'm not using the right percentages, if I'm not doing what's required of getting to that next level. And in the case of the bench press, you saw exactly what I did. I made a full video on the subject. I didn't just go in and spin my wheels hoping that gains would be made. I took a serious look at my system, modified the parameters like crazy, and got the best results of my life. And this has been the same pattern over and over and over again, no matter what my goals may be, whether it's yoke training, cardio related, getting a bigger bench, pull up, anything. It's about being smart. So although, yes, you want to train hard, the hardest of which you're capable of, the most important thing is what you do with this. Because I'll tell you another thing, man. There are guys who, on this platform, have much better genetics than me, yet their numbers are nowhere near my level. And you know what? They're training hard. Some of them, if I'm being honest, are training harder than myself. So is it because I have better genetics that I've surpassed them with certain things? Truthfully, no. It's because they're following dog shit, minimalist routines. They're nowhere near the potential. I think maximized programming is honestly the solution. If people were to follow concurrent periodization or just the conjugate system in general, you train like that, bro, your gains are going to be out of this world. I stand by the system 100%. This is what's got me to this point. I've contradicted myself on a lot of stuff over the years, but maximized programming is not one of them. This is the one thing that's remained consistent time and time again because it really does work. I think this is the absolute best way to train. So If you would have given me a minimalist routine, my numbers wouldn't be where they are today. And I don't think I'd be as muscular either, because you're constantly waving your volume and intensity and nothing is really maintained. So I hope I'm being clear in this video by saying, yeah, train your freaking balls off. Don't be lazy. Don't make excuses. But also have the courage to experiment with different training philosophies. Don't live in a box. Don't subscribe to black and white thinking. The more you expand your knowledge, which is a never-ending pursuit, by the way, you can never know too much, the better it's going to be in the long run. That's really the fundamental issue that I see, especially as people get in the advanced stage. If you don't know what you're doing there, I'm sorry, your hard work ain't going to help you. And that's why a lot of these meatheads take a bunch of drugs, because they weren't smart enough to surpass a plateau. That's what it was, a plateau, not your genetic fucking limit. Hell no, it wasn't your limit, bro. Imagine if I would have said that years ago when I was a low 300s bencher. My progress was pretty slow at one point. Actually, when I used to do minimalist routines, I was stalling left and right and I had joint pain, man. I didn't think that I would ever reach the performance that I hit today. And the only thing that got me to this point was remaining consistent, training hard, but learning more and more, constantly refining the variables, trying to be the best version of myself and trying to give you guys the best advice as well. Because when you teach other people, when you try to be the best coach, you learn more about your own training as well, because you're able to see with a larger sample size. So don't be a bookworm either. A lot of guys are stuck in mental masturbation. They never get anything done. But of course, be more than just a guy who strains hard, puts an effort in the gym. Some things, it's obviously required, but that's not what's going to take you to the absolute next level. Proper programming is absolutely what's going to do that for you. And that I can promise. So anyway, I'm done rambling. Give me feedback in the comment section. Let me know if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.